Okay, I'm gonna try and unpack a video here. A lot of people have asked me, how did it end with the police interaction? And since then, oh fuck, my social media is blowing up. People are commenting. Most of the people are like, respect, amazing job, keep doing what you're doing. And then we have people like, telling me I'm a fool for standing up for myself, for obeying the bylaw, and just being like, listen, there's a bylaw for a reason, like the bylaw clearly states XYZ, blah, blah, blah. Okay. I'm not the one who needs to be educated on that. If you are one of the people that are sitting there and being like, what you did was wrong, well, you're the person that needs to be educated on that. Okay. So you should go and learn the bylaw first. You should go and learn about the exemptions. Okay. You should go and learn that you do not need to state an exemption, which I'm going to get more into this later, believe me, because a lot of people seem to want to say, well, okay, so you don't need to tell your exemption, but like, why don't you just tell your exemption? Actually, I'll unravel that right now. First of all, when I got off the bus, because I did, after about 12 or 15 minutes of talking to these cops, when I got off the bus, because the bus wasn't going to go anywhere. It was completely emptied by that point. Driver wasn't going to go. It was a stalemate. But the bottom line is that I wasn't about to just keep sitting on a bus. The cops weren't going to arrest me because they had nothing to arrest me on. So I got off the bus but continued to talk to the cops. So this is kind of how it went. I said, listen, you guys are wasting your time, my time, the taxpayers' dollars, because in the bylaw it states very clearly that there are mask exemptions. And obviously I made that clear to the cop, right? I was like, you guys saw it in the video. I was like, is there not exemptions, right? And you can tell that the cop was uneducated, thinking that you have to show an exemption, which I think all of us can agree that if we go and look this up, we can find out very easily that you do not need to show an exemption. So therefore, I was in the right from the beginning. I got on the bus. This is how it went. Got on the bus, the driver put his finger up as if to say something, and I said, I have an exemption. And I just kept walking. I sat down. The bus didn't move. So I don't speak French, okay? So the bus didn't move, but a couple more people were getting on the bus, so I thought, maybe he's just on a break. Eventually, I hear him talking in French, and I see some people looking back at the bus to where I was sitting. I go, okay, well, he must be talking to me. So I got up, I said, hey, are you talking to me? And he said, I said, I don't speak French. He said, where's your mask? I said, I told you when I got on the bus that I had an exemption. He said, well, what's your exemption for? And I said, I don't need to tell you my exemption. And I said, it's best we just go about our day. And then I went and I sat back down. It was literally that simple. The bus was still not moving. So, but more people were kind of getting on here and there, right? So I thought maybe he's taking a break. Like maybe this is like a stop where, when they're ahead of schedule, they take a break. But then I saw the cops come to the door. So I just started filming. And the reason why I started filming is because you never know how an interaction with the police are going to go. I'm not an idiot. I've seen the way some things can go down. So I just started filming. Okay, so after I got off the bus, I continued to have this conversation with the cop about, that this was all a waste of time. None of this needed to happen. Very clearly that the only person that wasted the time was the driver and the cops. Because first of all, the driver had no business asking for my exemption. On top of that, he had no business kicking me off the bus because I said I had an exemption. In the bylaw, that's very clear. If someone says they have an exemption, you're not to deny them service. Okay? Not to mention, this is not just like a privately owned business. This is a city service. So it gets even deeper. Okay? So cop was like, well, trying to like barter with me, trying to get me to see his way. And he says, well, you could have just told him your exemption. And I said, yeah, I could have. I said, I actually don't have a problem with that premise. Like I could have. Yes, I could have. But the point is the law is there for a reason. I said, what difference would it make if I would have told him my exemption? I said, because we're going to get into that conversation. If you want to go there, we're going to get into it. And I said, first of all, if I would have said I have exemption and I would have listed exemption XYZ, it then puts that driver in the position of being judge and jury over whether or not my exemption is valid to him in his uneducated perspective, or is valid based on the bylaw, which he clearly already doesn't know. So I'm putting myself off because, and I'm telling you, this isn't a one-off. It's not like the driver asked me, so why don't you tell him? Do you know how many times I've had to deal with this? Not just on the bus. In several businesses, people are asking you, telling you, you can't come here, you can't go there. There's a mask exemption. If you don't have this, you can't come in. Do you know how many times I've had to tell people? Do you know how many times I've had to educate people on the bylaw? Too many times. And it's not on me to educate them. I don't need to, as a free citizen, sit here and be like, well, actually, my exemption is XYZ. Is that okay with you, sir? Is that okay with you, ma'am? No. And the reason why that bylaw is there is because you can get into issues around discrimination. So if I say, let's say I have asthma, or let's say I have anxiety, or let's say I have XYZ, and then the driver can go, well, that's not an exemption, so you're not going to get service today. Or any business can say, that's not an exemption, you have to leave. They are not the judge and jury, okay? In fact, it's clear in the bylaw that many things could be exemptions, not just physical, but mental, along with other things, okay? So I am not going to continuously put myself in a place where I'm literally disrespecting myself to have to go out of my way all the time to explain myself. Do you know what that actually looks like? That's straight up discrimination, right? If I'm going somewhere, just trying to live my life, and I have people everywhere harassing me, telling me, tell me what your exemption is, tell me what your exemption is, or where's your papers, show me your proof. This type of living is not what Canada is about, okay? We're better than this, and we actually have laws around this. We have discrimination laws. We have Charter of Rights laws, okay? So you can get into the whole discrimination stuff. You can go and look this shit up yourself, because I don't have time to educate everybody. And I'm not gonna change everybody's mind. So you can think whatever the fuck you want. I really am not, I'm not about that. I'm past that. Like, I don't have time to help everybody understand, even though I legitimately wish everybody would. I legitimately wish I could get through to every person and be like, literally, here, this is why. Now, do you see it? But I have already tried that with so many people. It doesn't work. There's like 1 out of 50 people that you have that conversation with, that you take a lot of your energy to try and explain things and educate them, that goes, oh yeah, I can see that now, okay. The other 49 people just keep blabbing back to you and reiterating why they don't get it, or why you're wrong, or why this or that, when they're the ones who are not in the know. They do not have the knowledge. They don't have the information. So I'm just a human, you know, I can only do so much, and I'm not gonna waste my fucking energies continuously doing this. So I explained to that driver, okay, I know this is a long video, but I explained to that driver, it puts that driver, I explained to that officer, it puts that driver in the position of judge and jury. Then he gets to decide. I said, so that, what, I have to do that with every driver I come in contact with that asks me now? Because I already have to do that with like this business and that business and this business. They're already trying to force me into a position where I need to explain myself, when the law is clear that you don't need to explain yourself. So for all the people out there, they're going, why don't you just explain it, bro? Like,